Hi there, I'm Tercy Engelhart, and I want to start like I start every single week by welcoming you to the Unreasonably Grateful podcast. So, some of you have heard me say something similar to this week after week, but every week I promise you I'll show up and I'll be willing to break my heart wide open and let some of the wisdom that I've gleaned over my now 38 years of recovery from living an addictive life, dealing with an eating disorder for 20 years. This is my 38th year. And, there are just tidbits and I don't know, maybe it's just ways of seeing things that I'm sharing with you, not because I have your answers, because I don't, you do. But we all have learned that we can hear ourself more easily in another person's story. And so by sharing our stories, we oftentimes get a newfound freedom. We see something in a new way. We hear something that perhaps has been said to us many times, but we've never quite heard it in the way that we're hearing it this time. And hearing it that way opens up something for us on our own journey, on our own path of recovering the broken off pieces of ourself, which just quite frankly happens in all of our lives over time, whether it's something from the external world or something from our internal world that perhaps we've told ourselves or repeated or lived as if it's true for years and years and years. So, welcome. I'm grateful to have you here, and I thank you for being a part of my journey. I also want to thank again those of you who signed up or have signed up for individual sessions that I offer on Tuesdays. And again, a good part of that session is simply reflecting back to you what I hear when you share with me more deeply about your own personal life or the journey that you're on. And I feel honored to sit in that seat, to be an elder in your community, and to encourage you and support you as you take your next steps. So if it's something that you're interested in, it's a donation basis. You can sign up on my personal website, which is tercyengelhart.com, under the caption of Work Together. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't want to skip over how grateful I am that we get to share in this way at this time. All right, so we're in a series on love, and I actually want to share with you from a personal experience. And so the particular title of this is How to Bridge the Abyss. And by abyss, what I'm talking about is the gap between loving and not loving. And the type of love that I'm speaking about here is not romantic love or even familial love. It's that unconditional love presence. It's that willingness to show up, to empty out, and to let that divine love flow through us. And oftentimes it lands out there and touches another being in a way that it heals or provides something for them. So let's just talk about any relationship, all right? But a relationship where you care about someone and they care about you. And oftentimes in those relationships, which could be any relationship, what happens is our wounds get exposed. The places in our life where we're defending ourselves or protecting something, or we've made a decision about something. And a lot of what I hear today is oftentimes I need to take care of myself. I need to keep myself safe. Why should I fill in the blank? Why should I have to? Whatever. And what I want to say to you is anytime you're in that position where there's a defense, or a protective mechanism. It is nearly impossible for that divine or unconditional love that I'm talking about to flow through you because there's a blockage, there's a mistrust, there's a need to protect. We don't have to protect ourselves from divine love. It's not going to hurt you. It will heal you. So when we're in a position where there's this abyss that I'm talking about, there's another being, and perhaps their wound has been activated, and there's you, and perhaps your wound, something from the past, some earlier similar incident has also been activated. And so you've pulled back and retracted, or perhaps they've pulled back and retracted. And now there's this gap that I'm calling an abyss, because that's what it feels like. It feels like this empty space that you're unable to cross. It's just too big. It's too frightening. Okay, so a little bit of explanation here. You don't have to. Let me just be clear. You don't have to. You can stay protected and walk away, and you will get to that same place again in another interaction or relationship down the road. Because the reason you're standing on the edge of that abyss is that's part of your work. That's the test for what you've invested in, the consciousness, the awareness that you've developed and created over time, doing your own internal work. So when you come to the edge of that, all there is to do is to let go and trust. Take a breath. Perhaps say what you don't want to say. Be transparent, be honest, and then be willing to trust, loving without condition, bridging and crossing that abyss, knowing full well that on the other side of that, there's another being or beings that are also defending or protecting themselves. And when you bridge that gap, it's now possible for them to experience that divine or unconditional love that we're speaking about here. And it will also encourage, stimulate, initiate their internal healing process. Now, the key to remember is it's an opportunity. It's an invitation. You don't have to. And it is where your most growth is going to be. It's in the direction of your furthering your own journey. And if you're not ready, you're not ready. However, like I said, you'll get there again. Maybe you'll be more ready next time. And I want to encourage you, consider that when it presents itself, like all invitations and all opportunities, you actually are ready. And all there is to do is take the next step. Okay? Take that on, and I'll see you next week.